Good to go.
Okay.
Alright, now we're going to do a brakes test with engine idle. My brakes work.
Your brakes work, my flight controls. And let's see. My brakes work. Okay, your flight controls.
Excellent. So turn coordinator and attitude indicator, upright and direct. Turn coordinator is even.
Yep. So what we'll see when we turn the corner, we'll give a little bit of gas, turn the corner, and we'll see our turn coordinator is going to bank in the direction of our turn.
Okay.
And our ball is going to go in the opposite direction. There you go. Ball is going to start moving in the opposite direction.
So we're good there.
Yep.
Attitude indicator, upright and erect. So it sounds like we're clear or ready to start taxiing to the run-up area.
Yep. We're going to go to the north run-up area, and we'll enter it off with 2. We'll avoid hot spots on the way. Hot spot, I'll show you on the map when we get out there. A hot spot is an area on the ground at an airport that the FAA has identified as a safety-sensitive area. And in other words, basically it's an area where they've noted a higher incident rate, where people get confused, or where there are conflicts where planes are getting too close to other planes, things like that. And they label them hot spots, and then they put them on maps, and that's just kind of an indicator that to pilots that they should be extra cautious in those areas.
Oh, okay. The airplane's confused. It thinks you have low fuel. It just doesn't realize you got all the fuel in the world. That's what it doesn't know.
It's lost its mind, for sure.
Wow, everybody's at the run-up area today.
Oh yeah. So we're just going to tuck ourselves in here right next to this end one. So we'll come kind of hard around the corner here, kind of tight. There we go. We'll come up here just a little bit further, and now let's keep going, and then we'll whip it around to the left. There we go. Go ahead. Get a little bit more power. There we go.
Oh, okay, I see what was happening.
There we go. And then we'll call it good here. There we go.
Alright. Before takeoff, brakes hold. We got that. Fuel selector on both. Trim set for takeoff. It was a little high. Got that weird squelch going on too.
Yeah, I got it.
Glorious. Where am I at? Okay. Throttle 1800 RPM. Hold. Throttle's at 1800. Mixture set. So this is where we go forward.
We'll start forward, yep.
And we start waiting for it to go down.
Yep. Go back to the peak, and then we'll go 3 additional turns in. There you go.
Perfect. Magnetos check. 2 to the left.
50 RPM drop, 50, 75. Yep. And it recovers, yep. About 100 maybe, 7,500, so that looks good. And we recover.
Altimeter output check, 28 volts. We're at 0 or above.
Uh-huh.
Throttle idle. Engine gauges check. Everything's in the green. Actuator. Those source gauges of the vacuum, that's in the green too. Good. So we can go back to idle now. You smell something like weird and awful? Or is that just the end?
It's, there's a little bit of engine oil. Yeah, that's what we're smelling right now.
Okay.
So. Yeah, it just, get a little bit of engine oil on the outside of the engine, on the exhaust, and then when we're using cabin heat, we'll smell it inside the plane.
Oh, that's glorious.
Yeah.
Such an amazing thing. Actually, your pedal test. Good there. Flight instrument out, so.
Let's see, what is that? Oh, it's about 250. It looks like 250, 255.
There we go, right? Maybe a little more.
Yeah, there you go. That looks good.
Radio set. So we're looking for, this is tower.
That's tower, yep.
That's emergency, and then this is ground?
Yeah, that's right. And where do we get our ATIS?
We get our ATIS from the, from these guys.
Yep, exactly. So let's go ahead and flip it. And we're still not hearing anything, right? So what might be the issue?
So we'll probably set on COM 2.
Yep.
Automated weather and 135 Zulu 11505, visibility 10, few clouds 15,000, few clouds 22,000. Temperature 2, dew point minus 9 altimeter 3012. Visual approach is in use, landing and departing. Runway 17 left, runway 17 right, 1028 also available. Notice time and use, caution for simultaneous operations to closely separated parallel runways. All departures, advise ground control when roundup is complete and remain on ground control frequency until advised. So far departures, advise ground control direction of flight. Multiple construction cranes in the vicinity. Hazardous weather information for the area available on flight service. Advise international contact you have information whiskey.
Information whiskey.
Okay.
Sentinel report information whiskey, automated weather observation 1353 Zulu 11505, facility 15,000, 2 clouds 22,000. Temperature 2, dew point minus 9 altimeter 3012. Visual approach is in use, landing and departing. Runway 17 left, 17 right, 1028 also available. Time and use, caution to closely.
There we go. So we've got whiskey. I switched this to tower here, so let's go ahead, put ourselves on ground. We'll flip-flop, and then up there we'll have to go to COM 2. Yep, there we go.
Nice. So now we're actually ready to make the call to request to be able to go to the runway.
Yep, so we're going to, we have, do you recall what that radio call sounds like?
Yes, so we're saying who we're calling, who we are, where we are, and what we want. Okay.
And we also have to tell them we have information whiskey.
Information whiskey.
Yep.
Centennial ground 838 Sierra Papa at the north run-up area, run-up complete, requesting straight out departure with whiskey.
He's going to ask us, are you going to go southeast or southwest?
Sierra Papa, Centennial.
We're going to be south.
I understand you're going south. You want to southeast or southwest?
Southeast.
Southeast 838 Sierra Papa.
Cessna 8 Sierra Papa, roger. Runway 17 left, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 17 left, taxi via Alpha 838 Sierra Papa.
Okay, so now we have permission now to cross this line that's right out in front of us, that solid and then dashed line. Anytime we see a line like that, we know that we can't cross it until we have a clearance. Okay, so we'll give it some gas. We'll head out there.
Good, 17 left, so that's over.
So we're going to go over here, yep, to the right. We're going to cross that dashed line and line up on the yellow line that's right out there. There you go.
Track 8 Sierra Papa, monitor target 8.
On the tower 838 Sierra Papa.
Okay, so we'll switch ourselves over to COM 1.
That gets busy.
Yeah. There we're on tower, that looks good.
Cessna 8280 Papa, Centennial Tower, remains south of the final for runway 28 for Bonanza 8 mile final, southeast approved, 11206. Runway 1 to the left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 17 left, southeast approved, south of the approach corridor for 28, 8380 Papa. Okay, let's head out onto the runway. Okay, we're clear and we can go out now.
Okay.
So they're lining up on the parallel runway.
Okay, because I heard you say Bonanza, and I was like, that looks like a Bonanza.
Yeah, there's another Bonanza. There's a Bonanza east of here that's approaching on runway 28, and they just want us to stay out of his way. We're gonna turn south of him, stay out of his way. Okay, give us 10 flaps. We'll line up on the center line, and we'll pause for just a moment, make sure we're good. Okay, roll forward a little bit to straighten our nose wheel. There we go. And then we'll just stop here. And we're going to apply power, smoothly power to full power. And then we're going to look to make sure our airspeed is alive. We're going to start rotating at, we'll rotate at 55 knots. So take us up to the E there. And when the airspeed indicator reaches 55 knots, we're just going to ease back on the yoke, and we're going to start flying, okay?
Okay. And when we're on the runway, we want to make sure we can still see the runway down, so we don't want to raise our nose too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll help you if we get our nose too high. Okay, perfect. And we're gonna have to go ahead and apply full throttle, and we're gonna use our rudder to maintain center line. No brakes at this point. We're just gonna keep our heels on the floor, use our rudder pedal with no brakes. Heels on the floor. Okay, our airspeed is alive. Engine instruments are in the green. Engine green. Okay. And we're at 40 knots now. We're doing a good job of maintaining center line. And we're just about 55. There we are, 55. We'll pull it up. There you go. And there you go. Just control that nose high attitude. Very good. Look at that. You just did the takeoff. I didn't provide any input.
Wow, that's awesome.
I just talked. I'm like a talk box over here.
A very important talk box there, I'd say.
Okay, very good. So we performed that takeoff with 10 degrees of flaps. Now we're at a safe altitude and we have a positive rate of climb, so let's reduce our flaps to 0. We're going to retract them to 0. When we do that, we're going to notice the nose might start to dip a little bit. Actually, it didn't do it too bad today. So now we're just going to climb out at 75 knots. And remember, if how we control our airspeed in the front.
Tower, proceeding on the left, birds appear on the right side of the runway, just south of Alpha 11. Proceeding runway 17 left, 45 thanks.
We are south now of the approach corridor of 28. Let's turn left to the heading of 150.
Heading 150.
Canada 3226, Centennial Tower, traffic midfield, straight down for the plane, and Cessna, continue for 17 left, will be front runway.
Okay, doing a great job.
Man, it's such a nice day.
It is. I picked a nice day to do this.
Technically, I just picked all the earliest available days. I'm like, I want to fly.
Cessna 0 Echo left 360, we're doing some bird mitigation.
Roger, left 360, 0 Echo 0.
No, that's in the and at 2 left.
Now we're at 1,000 feet above the ground. Let's do a quick 1,000-foot checklist. So there should be another checklist on your iPad, and that'll be called the 1,000-foot checklist. You'll be able to commit this to memory pretty quickly, but it's a pretty small checklist.
Okay. 1,000-foot checklist. Cruise, climb, and then 85. Mixture is set, and then lights as required.
Nope, we don't need any lights because it's daytime, so.
And rejoin the balance of the plane at 6,900 and on to the next.
What altitude we're going to climb to in this area?
We are climbing to 7,500 in this area.
7,500 in this area until we get south of the reservoir, then we can go up some more.
Approved, 13011, estimated 3011.
3011, 4 minutes ago.
Okay, so we'll level off here at 75. We just let our nose down a little bit, help our nose down to a level attitude, and give our airspeed a chance to build just a little bit. There, it's building. And then when we get it to,
turn right, Charlie 2 and
get where we want to, about 100 knots or so.
You can also
and you can cut the trim now if we want to work with the trim. That's up to you.
Pressure, 1 mile southeast, landing with information working, we go off to
It looks like we're climbing. We need to step up on the wheel.
we've got traffic, 12 o'clock in the mile, Kilo 4 Taylor, do you have them inside?
You got them inside your arc,
Let's go a little to the left.
Do the birds appear after runway?
I'm going to perfect.
Okay, thanks. 45 hold short, 17 left.
What's running 1 from up, perfect.
0 Control, 17 right. Clear touch and go, 120.
So here's our triple play. Let's turn left to heading at 140. So we kind of just heading a little bit, not a big deal.
Following the tender, remain clear back with your space.
So heading the final page on there.
Following the tender, getting close to back with your space, remain clear back.
Okay, a little bit more left. You can see that the small lake up here? So we're going to kind of fly toward that small lake that's right off the nose up here.
I see it. Okay, fine.
Okay. So, in this area, go ahead and climb out about 8,500. We're on the south side of the reservoir. It's safe for us to climb up to 85. So if we just raise the nose until we get around 80 knots.
Harvey, can you say the call one more time?
November 4176.
I'm going to switch us over to the southeast practice area. That'll be a little more quiet for us.
Northbound on Poker Road.
There we go. Very good. Doing a great job of holding our airspeed. We're full power, 80 knots, climbing about 600 feet per minute, so that's good. And it's really nice and smooth this morning.
I mean, it is perfect.
I was with a student last night. We were doing instrument training at night last night, and we were on an instrument approach to runway 28 back at the airport. The airport was reporting winds calm, but about 1,000 feet above the ground, we were in a 30-knot crosswind, and it was rocking us. He was having a real hard time holding the localizer on the approach.
Well, you're not kidding. There will be times when we go out, it's going to be rough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But not until we get used to it, you know. I mean, we don't do that this early in training, so. Okay, we're at 8,500, so let's go ahead and let our nose down just a little bit. Okay, we have traffic up here about 11 o'clock, somewhere up here. Let's go ahead and turn right so that we're paralleling Parker Road down there. There we go. And that looks good. We'll level our wings here. I'm gonna, let's see, I need to bring something up here. Take a look at the practice area and see who's maneuvering out there. Looks like we have somebody out there in the Castle Canyon box. So what we may do is, let's just see. We'll call out and see what they're doing. We'll go over to Elizabeth. So here's 86. This is Franktown right down below us here on your side of the plane. Okay. And that's Highway 86 that goes east and west through Franktown, and it goes up kind of through the trees there. So let's turn left and follow Highway 86, and we'll just stay on the right side of it as we're following it. Okay?
Excellent.
And we're getting a little bit high here. We really need to bring it down. So nose down, 85. Don't want to go any higher than 9. So let's reduce power. That'll help us descend. Reduce power to about 2,000. There we go.
I was trying to pull it out slowly, but I just wasn't pulling it out enough. I'm like, if I pull it out, it's going to stop the plane, then we're just going to start going.
You know what? Maybe we'll practice some engine out procedures today too. See now you talked about it and you gave me an idea.
So if you're watching this, don't ever tell your instructor any idea. It's a bad idea.
Just answer what they ask you and then don't say anything more. Actually, that's a good strategy for a check ride. Just don't offer any more than they ask you. Military examiners have a way of digging. You know, if they sense a weakness, they start digging. So
I smell blood.
There we go. That looks good. Okay, so we're on column 12275.
Centennial Southeast practice area, Skyhawk 838 Sierra Papa, 8,500 over Franktown, transitioning to the Elizabeth practice box, Centennial Southeast. Centennial Southeast, Skyhawk 5163 Hotel, 8,500 over Castlewood Canyon, maneuvering Centennial Southeast.
Okay, there we go. Now we can bring power back up to about 2,300. Good deal. So in this area right here, we're going to want to keep an eye on our altitude, make sure we don't stray too far from 8,500. In this particular area, the maximum altitude we can fly up to is 9,000 feet. Anything above 9,000 feet, we're going to be in DIA's airspace, and then they're going to come looking for us. We'll get in trouble. So, yeah. Okay, so today I think this is the first time we've been in the Elizabeth practice box. So to get to the Elizabeth practice box, we go down to Franktown, and then we follow Highway 86 east until we see that flat one-story building with the white top down there, right off the side of the highway. Okay. Yep, that's a Walmart. That's the Walmart in Elizabeth. So we know that if we follow Highway 86 out here, and we see that white building, that white top building, then that's the Walmart, and we're in the Elizabeth practice box. All right. Okay. All right. So we're in Elizabeth now. Let's go ahead and turn right to a heading of south. You see there's kind of a long north-south road about 2 o'clock over here. Right out there.
I see it.
Yeah, so let's just track that road south. There we go. Okay, this is great. We're at 8,500 feet. We're on a heading of south, more or less. Let's see. I'm going to correct our heading indicator. It's drifting a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so let's bring the power up to about 2,300 RPM, and we're going to start with a clearing turn. So before we do any maneuvers, we're always going to start with a clearing turn just to make sure that the area is not occupied, we don't see anybody. Let's start with a turn to the left, and let's just bank it at about 20 degrees to the left. 20 degrees to the left. As we start our bank, we might notice that the plane starts to descend, so we may have to apply a little bit of back pressure to maintain our altitude. There we go. Looking good. I'm going to make a call out and just let people know we're maneuvering in the Elizabeth practice box now.
Okay.
Southeast practice area, Skyhawk 838 Sierra Papa, maneuvering in the Elizabeth practice box, 8,500 Centennial Southeast.
Okay. Keep our bank going. We're just going to do a complete 360.
Oh, complete. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a complete 360.
At the left and the right.
Yep. No, not today. We'll come back to the steep turns. There we go. This is looking good. Good, good. Doing a good job. We have a nice coordinated turn, 20 degrees of bank. We're maintaining our altitude. It all looks really good.
Awesome. As you said coordinated turn, I looked down at the barrel and I started stepping on the left rudder.
Bingo, perfect. That's perfect. Okay, we'll just keep this coming around to a heading of south. And I didn't see anybody out there. I don't have anybody on my iPad. So I think we're in good shape.
I agree.
Okay. So, first thing we'll do today, let's we'll start with a little bit of slow flight. We'll go back and revisit slow flight. One of the reasons we like to perform slow flight is because slow flight is a style of flight that we're going to enter. We always have to enter it as we're landing the plane. The plane gets slow because we're landing, and it starts to behave a little bit differently. And so we just want to make sure that we're familiar with slow flight and we're comfortable with slow flight. Okay? So I'm going to talk you through it, and then I'm going to allow you to perform the setup for slow flight. Okay? And I'll provide input if we need to, if I need to correct anything. Okay? No worries. So first things first, we want to make sure we're trimmed for level flight so we can take our hand off the yoke and just kind of see what the plane does. Pretty good. This plane tends to bank to the right, and that's just this plane. I don't know if it was bonked in the hangar or something.
Oh.
But anyway, so that looked good. We were maintaining altitude. So now what we're going to do for slow flight is we're going to reduce the power back to about 15 to 1700 RPM. So go ahead and do that. We're going to apply some back pressure on the yoke to maintain our altitude, and that means our airspeed is going to start bleeding off, right? So we just keep maintaining the back pressure to maintain our altitude. The airspeed is bleeding off. When we get to about 70 knots, actually right now we'll go ahead and apply full flaps. We'll go ahead and apply full flaps. There we go. And maintain our altitude. When we get to 70 knots, let's feed in about 2200 RPM. Okay? And maintain level flight. Okay? Now we're right at 60 knots. So between 55 and 60 knots, this is perfect.
8,600 over Northwood Canyon, maneuvering to Centennial Southeast.
So we're at 60 knots right now. We're at 8,500 feet. You're bang on your altitude. And all we're doing is we're going to use power to adjust our altitude, and we're going to use pitch to manage our airspeed, right? Okay. So that is perfect. Now if go full power and maintain 60 knots, so just continue to adjust our pitch to maintain 60 knots. We're maintaining 60 knots, which is perfect. We applied full power, and look, now we're starting to climb, right?
Nice.
So we did that with power because we're still at 60 knots. That hasn't changed. So now let's reduce our power down to about 1900. And we'll continue to maintain 60 knots. So we're going to pitch for 60 knots, power down to 1900. Now, look at our altitude. We're starting to drop, right? Yeah. So that just shows us that we're absolutely controlling our altitude with power, and we're controlling our airspeed with pitch. So let's bring it back up to 22. And we should start flying level again.
I think that's the most unsettling is that there's like a rattle now because we put the flaps all the way down.
Oh yeah, it's just the buffeting that we get from the airframe when the flaps are down. So let's go ahead and make a turn to the left so that we're heading north, and we're only going to turn about 10 degrees in bank. So
we turn super quick when we're slow.
Yeah, so in slow flight we don't want to bank any more than 10 degrees because we don't want to get too steep. If we get too steep, then we might enter a stall.
And that's when it gets real scary.
Yeah, we don't, scariness is not our business. No, we won't get scary.
You'll have to tell me. Maybe I should just shut up. I know what happened last time.
Oh, you're fine. So we'll come around to a heading of north, doing a great job. Again, you're bang on 60 knots. We're right at 8,500 feet. This looks really good. 10-degree bank. We'll just keep it coming around here. And that looks really good. Okay, now, to recover from slow flight, first thing we're going to do is go full power. Full power, then we go 20 degrees of flaps. So that's right in the middle there. There you go. And we feel that we kind of got the letdown from the flaps coming up, right? Now we're at 70 knots. We're not descending. We'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Okay. Now we've gained more airspeed. We're at 75 knots, and we're still not descending. We've got a good altitude. We'll go and retract flaps to 0. There we go. Now we've recovered. And we just make small adjustments. Yeah, you're great. So that slow flight that you just performed right there would pass the ACS standard, the Airman Certification Standard. That's what the when you ride with the FAA for a private pilot, for a private pilot license, they're going to ask you to perform slow flight. And exactly what you did right there for that whole process was perfect, and that would pass the Airman Standard.
Excellent.
Now let's go. I'm going to do something. We're going to practice engine out procedure, okay? So it's not as scary as it sounds. In fact, you're already well prepared for it because you were just using pitch to maintain your airspeed, right? And we're going to do the same thing during an engine out procedure. So let's see, in this area, let's turn toward the west.
I only have one question.
Yeah.
Are we simulating the engine going off, or are we literally turning it off?
No, we're not going to turn it off. We'll never turn it off.
Okay.
Not until you get into multi-engine training, and then they're going to cut engines on you. We'd like really cut engines on you to dead all over the place.
That's scary.
So, but that'll be a little while. Okay. Okay, so let's just roll out here on a heading of west, and let's continue the turn to a heading of south. I want to get out from under this Bravo shelf, and then we'll climb a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Okay, let's go ahead, let's go full power, and let's climb up to 9,000 feet on a heading of south. Is it compass so south?
5160 Hotel, 8,500.
So the compass is, there's the compass turning arrows.
Transitioning to the...
There we go, we're pretty close to south right here. Okay. And our heading indicator agrees, so. And we'll just climb up to about 9,000 feet here. So on a heading of south, we're heading away from that shelf of Bravo. And we'll just make sure that we stay a little bit south. So the reason I'm climbing up to 9,000 feet is because when we do a simulated engine out, we're going to pull the engine all the way back to idle, and then we're going to start pitching for 65 knots, right? That's going to become a memory item for us. We're just automatically, anytime if we lose power or if it feels like our engine has failed, let's go ahead and level here. We're going to pitch for 65 knots, and then we're just going to start looking for a place to set the plane down, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go power to idle all the way out. Okay. Now we notice immediately the plane is going to start wanting to descend. And that's fine. We want it to descend too, but we just want it to descend at a rate of 65 knots, right? So we're just going to let the nose down now so that we're at 65 knots. There we go. And we can use trim to help us out if we need to.
Those wheel down to release back pressure.
Wheel down, and if we go wheel down, that'll raise the nose a little bit, so that'll release back pressure, yeah. Yep, so we may have to use quite a bit of trim on this one.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so that's the first thing we do. First thing we do is we want to make sure we have airspeed, because airspeed is life, right? Airspeed is life. So yeah, we have our airspeed, and now we start looking around. Where do we have a place to land? we're looking for anything. We can look for a roadway, a highway, or we can just look for a flat open field, right? And it looks like we have a lot of flat open fields around here. So any one of them would be just fine. So go ahead and pick one.
I like that one that's slightly greener in between the two snowy ones.
Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to maintain 65 knots, and we're going to start turning our plane to approach that field.
That's scary.
Yeah, no worries.
I feel like at any moment if I make a pitch error, we're stalling.
We're good. Yeah, we're good. So, and we can, in this regime, we can bank more than 10 degrees. So if we need to, we can go 20 degrees, or we can do whatever. We just need to keep an eye on our airspeed. You're doing a great job. Yep, your airspeed is right at 65, so that's perfect. And we're descending about 500 feet per minute. That's normal because we don't have any power in the plane right now.
That's a comfortable descent.
Yep, and then we'll just line ourselves up on our field, and then if we have time, we'll start troubleshooting, right? Today we don't have time, we're kind of low, and so we're going to, we're just going to set the plane down. Okay, now let's pretend, okay, we got our power, we got our engine back, so add power back to about 2300 RPM. There we go. Let's just maintain our altitude. We're about 77.
Maintain altitude, okay.
Yep. So as we add power back in, we notice that the plane automatically wants to pitch up, right? Because we just applied all of that trim. So let's go ahead and turn up that.
5163 Hotel, 8,500 over Franktown, turning to the Pineries, Centennial Southeast.
Okay. So about 2,300 RPM. So that is exactly what an engine out practice procedure looks like, right?
That wasn't so bad.
No, that was not bad at all. Let's turn around, continue our turn around to the left. Actually, let's go out here.
Okay.
Here, let's see.
Can we climb back to 85?
No, we'll stay right where we are.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go. We're transitioning from the Elizabeth box to the Kiowa box, but that's okay. That'll actually help us here.
Pokemon, no hands.
Moms don't like to see that, man.
Yeah.
That's why we go training. Goes all the way back to the bicycle. They just don't like to see that.
That's like where their heart will literally skip a beat.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to look for, we're just going to do turns around a point. So I'm going to look for something out here that we can use as our point. And it can be anything, just like a water trough, or, just anything, really. Actually, we have one over there, so let's go ahead and do that. See that muddy area with the water trough? It's under a wing strut. Just a little bit to the right. Yeah, right out in there. It's like right under the wing strut.
I see, okay.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's make a turn around that point. We're going to use that as our point. So what we're going to do is we want to, here, let's see, we turned a little bit steep on it. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to level our wings here.
Okay.
As that watering trough passes under our strut again.
Centennial Southeast, 5
Let's maintain, we'll do 8,000, so we'll descend a little bit. Okay. So as that muddy water trough passes under our wing, we're going to start a bank at about 10 to 15 degrees. So about 15 degrees, so there we go. And we're just going to keep peeking out, making sure that we're maintaining a constant radius and offset from that water trough. Okay? And if the wind is blowing us closer, we're going to adjust by reducing our bank angle. If the wind is blowing us away, we're going to adjust by increasing our bank angle. So let's just maintain about a constant 10-degree bank and see how that works for us. There we go. Now we're at our altitude, so we'll apply a little bit of power back to about 2,200. Okay, and it looks like that trough is, we're doing a good job. We're maintaining our offset. So we'll apply a little bit more bank now. Okay? And what you're doing right now is perfect. What we're doing, the point of these maneuvers, these exercises, the ground reference maneuvers, is to make the pilot split their attention between what's happening on the ground and what's happening in the airplane. Right? So we're asking you to maintain a particular altitude, but we're also asking you to fly in relation to a point on the ground. So you're doing a good job of maintaining altitude. We're right at 8,000 feet. That looks good. And we're also tracking a nice circle around that point. So, very good. It's a constant back and forth. We're constantly looking out of the plane, then back at our instruments, and then back outside the plane, just to kind of see what's going on with our point. And it looks like we have some traffic up here, about 1,100 feet above us. I'll keep an eye out for them. Just go ahead and continue the maneuver.
I feel like I've done like a tight spiral. Now we're like super close to it.
Okay, I have that traffic in sight. They're no factor. And, yep. So there you go. So what happened there is we noticed that the effect of the wind, right? So sometimes, depending on the direction of the wind, it's going to blow us onto that point. Sometimes it's going to blow us off of that point. And then we're going to adjust our bank angle accordingly, right? If it's blowing us away from it, we need to increase bank angle. If it's blowing us onto the point, then we need to reduce our bank angle. So, and we'll come back and continue to practice those maneuvers as well.
Okay.
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes when people are performing ground reference maneuvers, because there's a lot of head motion back and forth,
Oh yeah.
it sometimes tends to make their stomachs upset.
Yeah. I did feel it for a little bit, but I think I'm all right.
Good.
Trying to take as many, what they call the non-drowsy version of Dramamine.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So, cool deal. Okie doke. So, we'll roll out of that, and let's start making our way back to the airport.
That's not very fun.
What are we at right now? Okay. Yeah, let's climb up, we're at 8,000. Let's climb up to 9,000. We'll do a simulated slip to landing. So we'll maintain a heading of west. That'll kind of get us back toward the airport, and we'll climb up to 9,000 feet.
Climb with full power at 75 knots.
Yep.
Climbing at a good rate, about 500 feet a minute. Back onto our heading.
So the first time we do this, I'll demonstrate it for you, and then we'll come back and practice it again. We'll come back and practice it again. And we'll practice this actually several times. All the maneuvers that we're going to perform and that we're going to learn for private pilot training, we're going to perform them multiple times. We're going to come back and revisit them. We're going to polish them. We're going to get them really, really good, really solid. And by the time we're done, you're going to remember how to enter and the configuration that's required for all of them.
So we have to do power installs again.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll do that. I know, I'm giving you a break today. So, although this would be really good conditions for a power install.
I mean, we could do it if you wanted to. I'm not doing it. None of that's in the all of that in the simulator, basically, just like back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll just do a simulated slip to landing. So out here in Elizabeth, it's right down here somewhere, like a 1950s era nuclear missile silo, right down here in Elizabeth.
Is that it? The tower thing right there?
No, I don't think it's the tower. I think it is, it's like further out here. It's like right in this area. I've seen it before, but you have to be right on top of it. So.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so let's, we'll maintain, this is good. Okay, so, let's do that. How do you feel? You want to do a power install before we do the slip to landing?
I'll leave it up to you. I'll do it either way, honestly.
Okay, we'll just do the slip to landing today.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate the slip to landing, my flight controls, and then we're level here at 9,000 feet, and I'm going to do slip to landing is a maneuver we might perform if, for instance, we were landing and we were a little bit too high and we needed to get down to the ground. Anytime we needed to lose a lot of altitude really fast and we don't have flaps, right? Or if flaps aren't enough. So we can see we're at 9,000 feet right here.
Right.
We're perfectly level. We're not climbing or descending. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go power to idle. I'm going to apply left aileron and full right rudder. I'm going to pitch for 65 knots. Now look at our descent rate. What is it? Almost 1,500 feet, about 1,500 feet per minute.
We are dropping out of the sky.
We're dropping out of the sky, but we're maintaining 65 to 70 knots.
That's our favorite spot.
It doesn't really even feel like we're descending very much. I mean, it's not crazy bumpy or anything like that, right? Not at all. So, I mean, it doesn't, and we just dropped like a rock, about 1,000 to 1,500 feet per minute. Then recovering, we release our control inputs, and we apply power. So that's it. Okay.
All right.
So that was nothing. And we'll go over that. I'll review with you on the ground briefly what that looked like on the plane.
Okay.
But, okay, so that's it. Your flight controls, and let's head back toward the airport.
My flight controls.
Your flight controls, and we'll just head a little bit northwest from here. So, right over here is Elizabeth. We'll continue north. And there's our Walmart. Walmart is right over there about our 2 o'clock. That white top building.
There it is.
So there's our reference, and we know right on the north side of Walmart is Highway 86, which is going to go east and west, and it goes through those trees, so we're just going to kind of follow it through those trees.
Excellent. And do you just want me to maintain 85?
Yep, we'll just maintain 85 in this area. Okay, I'm going to make a call out to the southeast practice area and let them know what we're doing.
Okay.
Centennial Southeast Practice Area, Skyhawk 8380 Papa, departing the Elizabeth Practice Box 8500 en route to Centennial Airport, Centennial Southeast.
I would say one of the biggest things that I've learned in flying, and that's kind of helped me really in many aspects of my life, is like not everything is constant and exact. It's kind of like a dance that you have to play with, so you can't just maintain exactly this, exactly that with leaving everything as it is. You have to constantly give input and corrections.
It is, and that's exactly right. That's a perfect term for it. It's a dance, you know? It really is.
Speak a second language by any chance?
Well, not fluently, no.
Oh.
Yeah, not fluently.
Well, they say like learning a different language is almost like learning a different way to think. So like, you know, like you've seen Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah.
You know how Yoda talks like
he like reverses words, the order of the sentence, the structure of the sentence and stuff.
Yeah, like flying we are today, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So like in Japanese and other Oriental languages, in Spanish, they change the order.
Yeah.
So that's why I say sometimes when you learn a different language, you learn to think a different way. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing with flying. When you learn a different, a skill, especially something like this, you start learning how to think in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely, I would agree. So, cool deal. We are on our way back to the airport, right? So let's cruise about 2,300 or 2,400 RPM. There we go. And then every time we go back to the airport, what's the first thing we need to do before we talk to them?
The first thing we need to do before we talk to them?
Yep.
Switch to their frequency?
Well, yeah, I mean, we do need to do that, but even before that, before we think about talking to them, they're going to want to know we have something. What is that?
Oh, a point of reference. They want to know where we're at?
Yep, they want to know where we're at, but they also want to know we have a piece of information.
Oh, Oh, something from the ATIS.
Yes, ATIS. Yeah, we need ATIS, exactly. Every time we go back to the open, all your answers were right, and we'll just keep looking until I get the one I'm looking for, which is fine. But yeah, they're going to want ATIS, so how do we get ATIS?
Well, we get ATIS, that is...
it's 120.3 is the frequency. Yeah, here.
120.3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then we can change it on the COM 1.
So we'll need to dial it in, I would dial it in down here.
Okay.
Yeah, 120.3.
How do I get 0.3?
Just keep dialing it, like if you go in the other direction, 0.30. Yep.
I thought you said 1203, and I was like...
Oh, 120.3.
Okay.
So then we'll go 120, there we go. And we'll go COM 2.
Getting report information X-ray, automated weather observation 1453 Zulu, wind 130 at 4, visibility 10, few clouds 16,000, few clouds 22,000, temperature 4, dew point -7, altimeter 3011. Visual approaches in use, landing and departing runway 17 left, runway 17 right, 1028 also available.
Okay.
As Chairman, use caution for simultaneous
So,
operations to
let's start our descent now. We need to descend down pretty quickly. Let's bring the time back to about 1900. We're going to descend down to 7500.
Direction of flight. Multiple construction cranes in the vicinity.
And let's turn left toward our lake over there.
Advise an initial contact. You have information X-ray.
Okay, we have X-ray. I'm going to switch us over to tower.
And enter a right base for runway 17 left.
Okay, right base.
So we're just going to overfly, see the athletic fields and the green top buildings over here.
Enter 7
Over there?
left.
Yeah, just right down here. There we go.
Fly direct to the tower, remain at above 7,300, and expect runway 28.
We're going to attempt to parallel tower road on the approach.
7,300.
So we need to keep ourselves coming down here. There we go. We're going to just descend to about 7,500 is where we're going to go.
Okay. So I need to go more aggressive than 500 per minute.
We're good. We're good at this rate right now.
Okay.
Centennial Tower, RB13 Delta Echo, Franktown with X-ray, request 20.
Fast track 45, change to runway 17 right, make right traffic.
Traffic 17 right, fast track 45.
Cessna 6 to Hotel Falls, Cessna up and off the parallel runway, they should be turning cross controlly.
We got him in sight, we'll follow him, thanks.
75.
Yep.
Almost there.
And that's Parker Road out in front of us, so we'll start paralleling that.
RV13 Delta Echo, Centennial Tower, can you say again?
13 Delta Echo is Franktown with X-ray, request 20.
We don't have 20.
RV3 Delta Echo, ident.
Okay, now we'll
Enter
start
in
paralleling
straight,
north.
you can taxi 2 wings via Delta.
And apply power back to about 23, and we're going to maintain 7,500. Centennial Tower, Skyhawk, A380 Papa, over the Priory, full stop X-ray.
RV13 Delta Echo, Centennial Tower, follow Parker Road northbound. Expect runway 28, you're following us at 11 o'clock in a mile.
Parker Road northbound, 3 Delta Echo.
RV3 Delta Echo, expect 28.
Expect 28, 13 Delta Echo.
Cessna 838 Papa, Centennial Tower, verify information X-ray, what was your request?
A-firm, we have X-ray, and we'll be a full stop, A380 Papa.
Cessna 838 Papa, follow Parker Road northbound, expect runway 17 left.
For Parker North, expect 17 left, A380 Papa. Okay, let's bring it up to about 2,400.
Short approach with the option.
Hashtag 35, short approach approved.
There we go.
No 17
Nice.
right, cleared for the
This is perfect.
1304.
We have 7,500 feet, doing a good job there, and we're at
Cessna
2,400.
60 Hotel Falls, Cessna over IKEA, they are an option. Runway 17 right, clear touch and go, wind 1304.
Clear for the touch and go, 17 right, we'll follow that, Cessna over IKEA, 60 Hotel.
Okay, so now we're just going to continue to follow Parker Road northbound as they directed us to.
Excellent.
And let's see. There is a big radio tower right there. You can see the red and white tower right here. Yeah. The red and white tower there, that's a KOA radio antenna. So if they ever tell you KOA or they ever mention KOA, that's what they're referring to.
Retreat, Delta, continue northbound. I'll call your turn to final.
Northbound, you'll call turn. 3 Delta Echo.
Very good. Now we're about 123 knots over the ground right now, so that's good. We're gonna this other guy, which he has landing on runway 28 over here, is a much smaller, much faster plane. It's called an RV. It's a much smaller, much faster plane.
Jericho Sierra, change to runner frequency 123.7.
She's bringing him in behind us. She's waiting for us to cross north of his path. I think she's going to turn him in.
55 Alpha.
Oh, I see.
7,600 landing Centennial with X-ray, requesting 28.
Come on.
This plane is really wanting to turn to the right today.
Yeah.
And Saratoga 7 for Quebec, once you're past the parallel runways, all to your discretion. Runway 28, clear to land.
But use a lot of left rudder.
Clear to land 28, we'll start our descent over the runway.
Even for the time that you're almost flying sideways.
Saratoga 7 for Quebec, right.
Yeah, like during a crowd, if we have a stiff crosswind.
Tower, I'm going around.
Okay. Cessna 0 Sierra, follow Cessna base, runway 17 right, clear touch and go, wind 1503.
So we can
45, change to
see that's runway 28 down there, runway 10 o'clock. 45.
That's that. Okay.
Yep, so that's the runway they're going to...
Hotel change to MR frequency 123.7.
That's the runway they're going to bring him in on.
So we're trying to get out the way.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're out of the way and she's going to turn him in here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and start a descent now to 6,800 feet. That's pattern altitude. We're going to bring the power back to about 2,000 to 1,900 to 2,000.
And Cessna 80, fly north, continue northbound. And number 7 for start that base now. You've got traffic 1 o'clock and a mile, 7,000 are indicated.
7 for Quebec, turn and base, looking for traffic.
Let's go a little bit left.
Sierra, copy about traffic 11 o'clock and a half mile, turning base for runway 28, a Saratoga 7,300 indicated.
Looking for traffic aids here, Papa. Okay. No, that's not him. Let's see. Okay, he's turning inside of us. Yeah. Traffic inside aids here, Papa.
Centennial Tower, Skywagon 65.
Still bring the power back up now to about 21.
Saratoga, 1 mile final, clear to land, 11303, you can start your final.
3 Delta Echo, clear to land, 28.
Cessna 655 Alpha, Centennial Tower, done.
We're going to try a little bit of trim.
Short of KOA, 7,400 landing Centennial with X-ray.
Cessna 55 Alpha, fly, and north, and I'll call your final turn for runway 28.
Northbound, final for 28, on call, Skywagon 55 Alpha.
Cessna 8 Sierra Papa, you can start your base runway 17, traffic will hold in position.
Turning base for 17 left, A3 is here, Papa.
Cessna 647 Sierra Papa,
So let's turn left, we're going to parallel
traffic, Cessna 2 miles.
around the whole road.
Skyhawk 617.
Let's get ourselves in a landing configuration, so we're going to reduce power to 1700. Power to 17, apply 10 flaps.
10 flaps.
There we go. We're going to let the nose come down. Now we're going to pitch for about 80 knots.
So you're following an RV at your 12 o'clock and 2 miles, 7,400 indicated there on final 28.
Roll the RV, Skywagon 55 Alpha, we do not have him yet.
And they're indicating 80 knots, Cessna 5 Alpha, if you could reduce your speed.
We'll go, 55 Alpha.
Cessna 7 Sierra Papa, fly to the...
Yeah, we'll give it a little bit more power, back up to about 2,000.
1403, no 17 left, clear for takeoff.
There we go.
7 Sierra Papa, 17 left, clear to take off.
He's Russian. He's a secret agent.
Cessna 8 Sierra Papa, traffic departing 17 left of Cessna, traffic approaching right base for the parallel runway Cessna, runway 17 left, clear to land, wind 1403.
Clear to land 17 left, 8 Sierra Papa.
Saratoga 7 for Quebec, contact out.
So we have
For Quebec, thanks.
traffic departing our runway.
Centennial Tower, Skyline 4 Lima Tango, Chatfield with X-ray, full stop.
Maintain here, so we'll just maintain, yeah, there we go, we're good.
Centennial Tower.
We'll continue to let the plane come down a little bit. Here we have our runway in sight.
And that's the traffic taking off.
Yep.
Okay.
Cessna 7 Sierra remain south of the
And let's go flaps 20.
Approved.
East
Flaps 20.
final for 2870.
There we go. And reduce power to 17.
Power 17.
Power 17, and
Cessna 4 Lima Tango remain off.
we have our runway here. That looks good.
To over and fly
We're
direct
going
to
to
the
pitch for
tower.
about 70 knots right here.
Above 7300.
Let's start a left-hand turn toward our runway on the left runway up here. Okay. We're at 500 feet. This is just right. So we see our runway there. Let's level our wings. Continue our descent.
28, clear to land, 11403.
Okay, we're going to let the nose down a little bit.
RB, clear to land runway 28.
Okay, 1700 RPM.
Wind 1403.
We're right on the glide slope. We see three reds, one white. We're on the glide slope. Okay. Give it a little bit of power, just about 100 RPM. There we go. And we're about 65 knots. There we go. I'm going to help you out here. And we're going to bring the plane down. We're going to keep flying it. We're descending at a rate of about 200 to 300 feet per minute. We're on the glide slope. We're going to continue to fly this until we're about 8 feet off the ground. When we're 8 feet off the ground, I'm going to help you level out, and then I'm going to call power to idle. You need to go power to idle, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alrighty, let's keep it coming. We're going to level off, power to idle, and then we just start holding it off, holding it off, holding it off, holding it off, holding it off.
Cessna 5 at Alpha, traffic 11 o'clock.
There we go.
And a mile and a half.
That's it.
Sound,
Nice. There you go.
Doesn't indicate the remaining south of your final.
We'll go right up here to the next exit.
Cessna 7 Sierra Papa, traffic 11 o'clock and a mile on final 4928 Cessna 6.
And we'll start applying some brakes here. We'll exit at Alpha 8.
Cessna 8 Sierra Papa, turn left Alpha 8, contact on plane.
Left Alpha 8, ground point 8, 8 Sierra Papa.
RB3 Delta Echo, you can taxi to Delta, or correction, taxi to
Hey, good job.
frequency.
Taxi remain frequency 3 Delta Echo. Centennial Tower.
We'll just go right across the whole short line up here.
Over Franktown with X-ray inbound to the museum.
And we can cross it because we don't have the solid on our side, it's the dash.
Correct, yeah. And we'll just enough so that our tail occurs, and then we'll come to a stop.
Left cleared for takeoff, fly straight out, 788 Juliet.
There we go, perfect. Now we're going to switch over, COM 2. If you want to call Centennial Ground, Skyhawk 83 Sierra Papa, Alpha 8 parking Alpha ramp.
Alpha 8 parking Alpha ramp.
Yep.
Okay, we're on COM 2 already.
Yeah. We'll wait for them.
Kevon 148 Alpha Kilo, Centennial Ground. Just hold position for a sec.
Alpha runway.
Numbers of parking.
83 Sierra Papa, parking Alpha ramp.
838 Sierra Papa, Centennial Ground, taxi to parking via Alpha.
Parking via Alpha, 8 Sierra Papa.
Kevon 148
Sorry about that.
Kilo,
Okay, I got he jumped in before we had a chance.
Good. 17 off, taxi via Alpha.
I got confused for a second. I was like, there's a lot of alphas. There's like 3 alphas. Yeah.
Ground Cast 52 Alpha 10, just want to verify I'm
Oh,
clear.
the Navy's here.
Yeah. Navy sends trainers in here occasionally. So we'll see that actually fairly frequently. We'll see Navy trainers. We'll see a lot of F-18s that are repositioning coast to coast.
Okay.
And we'll see a lot of Air Force trainers.
Sir, I would like to taxi over to the wings ramp, if that's okay, sir.
Roger, stay by.
Centennial Ground, fast track 45, across 17 left at Alpha 8. Parking.
Fast track 45, Centennial Ground, cross Alpha.
Or fast track 45? Ground flush at 522, rated taxi, signature X-ray.
Fast track 45, cross Alpha.
Fast track 45, cross Alpha, fast track 45.
Takeoff on 8 Alpha Kilo, pass behind the Cessna, and proceed on
Right,
Alpha.
now we'll slow down and we'll exit Alpha 3. So we'll go power to idle, start applying some brakes, slow us down, and we'll just stay on the yellow line and then follow it as it turns off to the right. There we go.
Taxi to wings via Alpha 10, Delta.
There we go.
148 Alpha Kilo,
Good.
we'll go over to wings on Alpha 10 after Alpha.
Okay,
148 Alpha Kilo.
now we're entering the ramp. The ramp is not controlled, so we don't need to speak to tower or ground or anybody. But it's like a free-for-all, so we have to scan for traffic. So, kind of like boats on a reservoir or something, you know, everybody's going everywhere and doing everything.
Ground, Skag 156, Mike Echo at Charlie 1, requesting touch and goes with X-ray.
We'll follow this back around.
Ground, runway 17 left, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 17 left, taxi via Alpha 156, Mike Echo. Ground, he said you 544, signature X-ray, ready to taxi.
Okay. Now as we go through this dip up here, we'll apply full back pressure on our yoke, and that just kind of keeps our nose wheel a little bit lighter as we're going through this dip. There we go. Now we'll just go on to the white line here.
Skywagon 55 Alpha, Delta 4, wings.
Skywagon 6555 Alpha, Centennial Ground, taxi to wings via Delta.
Thank you, sir. Skywagon 55 Alpha.
System 16 Foxtrot, monitor tower.
Monitoring tower, 16 Foxtrot.
And we'll just go, let's park next to 3904 so you'll pop up here a little bit further. Okay.
Taxi via Alpha.
Alpha is behind 17 left via Alpha, flight jet 522. Set jet 544.
There we go. We'll just bring it up here, right across this line here, and then bring it to a stop.
Will be number 2, runway 17 left, taxi via Alpha.
Nice.
17 left via Alpha behind flex jet, set jet 544.
Nice. Okay. Shut down. ELT 1215. Yep. Here. 2. We are. Alright, so we don't hear anything. That's good. Transponder, nothing to worry about that. Avionics off.